Let's all give a hand to our senator and turn the light over.
Thank you. The privilege of chairing the oldest committee in the United States Senate, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which deals with our policies abroad in terms of bilateral relations and multilateral relations, like the United Nations, the Organizations of American States, NATO, just to mention a few, where a good part of my work is how do we create greater democracies, because democracies are less likely to create conflict against other democracies, more likely to have an open economy. I've seen any iteration of them, conflict somewhere, dictatorship somewhere, but I've never seen the total universe that we have today. I mean, we are who would have thought that in 2022 we'd be talking about a European war, the European conflict. But that's what Vladimir Putin has created in Ukraine, unprovoked, and committing war crimes against the Ukrainian people. And so many people say to me, you know, it's expensive helping the Ukrainians. I'd rather help the Ukrainians fight for their freedom than to send America's sons and daughters to fight, because the next set of countries that are at risk if Putin continues his march to recreate what was the Soviet Union, which is his biggest lament, the demise of it, are NATO countries. And we are obligated under Article 5 of NATO to go ahead and defend those countries. I have time for a couple of questions if anybody has one. Shirley?
Yes, hi. I'm using notes because I promised to speak for less than a minute, and mine is more of a plea than a question. What is happening in Ukraine today reminds me so much of what happened in Kosova historically and what's continuing. And as we speak right now, you know, Vladimir Putin lies about Ukraine and says it doesn't really exist, it's an extension of Russia. The same thing happened historically in Kosova. Oh no, Kosova is an extension of Serbia. And by virtue of the structure of the European Union, which you know, it requires 100% vote to make any changes. And that certainly is not going to be happening because Biden, well, he's unified Europe's response to Putin. He's not taken any steps to unify Europe and the United States in relation to the future of Kosova. And specifically to Alexander Vucic's refusal, along with 5 other members of the European Union, as I'm sure you're aware. So, how is Kosova going to be recognized as an independent state? You're the only Western leader anywhere that I know of who's opposed Serbia's role historically and is willing to say that we should not create the Association of Serb Municipalities because it will completely chop up Kosova. You're the only person. And also to say that we must have Serbia come to the table first, recognizing the independence of Kosovo to finally resolve the Serbia-Kosovo conflict, which, as you know, has been going on since 1999. And so I'm hoping that you're going to be willing to hold a hearing in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on this issue. I realize the Senate and the House are going to go out all of October, it appears, and probably nothing is going to happen until after the election. But the only thing I want to end with is that if, and you know this, if Russia succeeds in Ukraine, the next steps are Kosova and Moldova, without question. That's been made clear. So I hope you can take the steps going forward that are needed to resolve the conflict.
I appreciate, first of all, you and the Congressman's long-time advocacy in this regard, along with members of the association. It's an incredibly important country so that we can ultimately have peace and stability in the Balkans. I did have a hearing, earlier this year on many of the elements that we care about. And I drove some of the administration's policy to try to move it forward. Our challenge with the administration is that they have so many irons in the fire between Russia, Ukraine, Iran, and China that getting their attention riveted, as they should be, in what is a tinderbox of the world has been a bit challenging. We're going to continue to do that. We're looking at the hearing schedule. As you noted, we're going to be out in 2 weeks.
Right.
And then people will be canvassing, being involved in their elections. those are up for election. Well, every member of the House and a third of the Senate is up for election, so October will be a campaign month. But we will have a lame duck session, and that may very well be a great opportunity.
Okay.
And I hope that we will keep the majority. I think we will. It will be slight, which will allow me to continue to dictate the agenda for the next 2 years.
Here, here.
So,
Let's do that.